Seems like outdoor cats die younger or bloody immortals. I definitely didn't have immortal outdoor cats, and we had a lot of cats. Some of them would just disappear and we would never see them again. That was like the other thing that I hated about having outdoor cats, was this idea of, oh, just let them run around. And I'm like, I hated it. I hated it so much. I had cats that I loved and they would just disappear. I was like especially traumatized when my cat Persia, when I was living out on the ranch, he was still kind of a baby. He was only like maybe a year old and he disappeared one day. And I was so depressed. That was like my first cat. Like all the other cats that we had owned, it was like my parents' cats. But Persia was mine. He was for my birthday. He was for my 10th birthday. And I was like, this is my kitty and I'm gonna take care of him. And 3 days later, we were getting ready to go to like work and school and we hear meow. And we opened the door and there he was, acting like nothing was amiss, except his back legs were all on crooked and twisted. He had probably gotten hit by a car and then somehow managed to drag himself back. While also the area that we lived out in the country also has wild dogs, and those dogs will rip apart other animals and stuff like that. I don't know how Persia managed to avoid those monsters, managed to drag himself back, and we had a big fence around the whole property, somehow climbed it, and then just strolled right back to the front door, meowing to come in and get some food and water. And I didn't go to school that day. We rushed him to the vet. They had to do emergency surgery on him. His hip was shattered. They had to put a bunch of pins and stuff in it. They were like, you can't let the cat like jump around and stuff while he's healing. And my dad made this like frame out of PVC pipe and chicken wire that was only like a foot high. And so we just took up the whole kitchen with that thing. He didn't make it small. No. My dad made it huge because he's like, well, as he's healing, he should be walking around. Like, it's bad for him to remain in one spot, so it was big. It was low to the ground, but it was huge, so it took up the whole kitchen. But he healed up, but that traumatized me, and when I moved out and I ended up getting a kitty, I got Mello. I was like, we're not allowing the cats to be outside. If they're going outside, they're gonna be on leash. And that's how it was. My little cat, Mello, he loved being on leash. He was such a good boy. He was so friendly with everyone. I would take him to places and he would walk around with me. He was a very mellow cat. It's why I named him Mello. Mello I ended up getting from a terrible pet shop. Me and my first ex, we ended up randomly stopping to buy this random pet shop because I own mice. So I was like, oh, I haven't seen this pet shop, and it said like it had exotic pets in it. So I was like, oh, I want to see if they have any mice and like take a look there and what have you. And they had a bunch of exotic pets, but then randomly they had some kittens. And holy I don't think they knew how to take care of kittens. One of the cats somebody was like buying immediately, and Mello was like the only one left. There was only 2 kittens left. It was who would be Mello, and then there was like this little black cat. And there was these like couple that had the little black cat, and they're like, oh, so cute, blah, blah, blah. And that black cat had like one goopy eye, but poor Mello, his eyes were so encrusted with like ickiness that he couldn't open his eyes. I went up to like the cashier folks and I was like, hey, so I'm gonna buy this cat from you. And they were like, oh, since he's a Siamese cat, we're gonna have to charge you more for him. And I said, the fuck you are. Well, I was like, what have you been doing to treat his eyes? And they're like, oh, we're a resident cat lady has been putting Neosporin on his eyes. No, your resident cat lady's dumb. So I got Mello at a discount because I was like, this is terrible. I'm going to have to take him to a vet and get him some fucking help because he could go blind. And I was like ready. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take care of a blind cat. That's fine. I can handle a blind cat. I was young and dumb. But But I had a friend who worked at a cat shelter who was at another pet store helping out with stuff. I went to go talk to them to get their opinion on what I should do or if they had anything that could help me. And they did! They had specifically some stuff for the exact issue that Mello was having. But they were like, this is really bad. He might have actually lost his eyes. Like, they might be so infected that the eyeballs are just gone. And I was like, it was bad. It was really, 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 really bad. And so they were like, hey, I'm gonna go run back to the shelter and I'm gonna come back with the stuff that you need for him because I need to go pick up some other stuff anyway. So she went out. We were like wandering around and I had Mello with me. I was carrying him the whole time. I think we went to pick up some food and we were like eating in the car and stuff. And I got Mello some like little kitten treats and stuff like that. She came back, gave us the medicine, was just like, oh yeah, just, you know, put it on the eyes. Sort of like goopy eye drops, basically. It's just like, just put it on the eyes and let it sit. She was like, it'll probably take a little while for him to open his eyes, but hopefully he will. And if he opens his eyes and it looks like worse, then go ahead and take him to the vet because they'll probably have to like assess how much damage there is. And I was like, okay. And so they helped me put the medicine on in the store and we were walking back out to the car and I sat down. He's so tiny, sitting in my lap. And then suddenly one eye opens and another eye opens and he looks up at me and I was like, oh, his eyes were perfect. They weren't f***ed up at all. And I was like, hi, little guy. And that was my cat. I would go to hell and back for that cat. He was such a good boy. He passed away fairly young. From what the vet said, from how he passed away, he was like assuming it had something to do with like pancreatic stuff, pancreatic cancer or something of the such. Cause Mello started like, his body started shutting down like really fast. He only lasted a month from when he started showing trouble. Poor baby. He just got sick and it got to a point where there wasn't anything I could do anymore. I was like force feeding him and doing all sorts of stuff to try and get him to gain weight because he started losing tons of weight immediately. And yeah, ended up having to get him put down. And I still have his little urn and stuff. He's still with me. He comes with me wherever I go. But I miss the hell out of that cat. That cat was so important to me. He was such a good boy. Like literally inseparable. Would sleep with me at night. If I was in the room, he was in the room. He never had me out of his sight. Me and Buttons were pretty sad for a while. Because Buttons and Mello, they had been together for like freaking ever. Buttons had known Mello since she was a baby when we got her. And she was sad. I was sad. We were both sad, and so my ex was like, let's go to the cat shelter, or let's go to the animal shelter and look at cats. And that's how I got Rory. Rory's such a good boy.